Women's soccer faced off against some tough competition this weekend. How did they fare?
And men's soccer got some national recognition. Stay tuned to see how they placed.
And of course, stick around to see this week's top 5 plays. All that and more. Sports Paws starts right now.
Welcome to Sports Balls. I'm your host, John Surratt, along with Lo Yarnell, her first time on the desk. How are we feeling tonight, Lo?
John, I'm excited to be here. It only took 4 years, but there's a first time for everything. We've got a great show, so let's jump right into it. We kick things off with men's ice hockey. Even though they haven't played a game yet, Ethan Lowe caught up with the team to discuss their new faces.
Following a disappointing end of the Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team's 2021 shortened season and the loss of key players in Peter Deliberatore, Keith Petruzzelli, and Odin Tufto, the Bobcats quickly rebuilt their roster by adding 5 graduate transfers, including Oliver Chow from the reigning national champion UMass Amherst Minutemen, and Dylan St. Cyr, who backstopped the Notre Dame Fighting Irish this past season.
Say this about the 5 grad transfers. I mean, their character is off the charts. Like we did our research on them.
Cameras?
They're all A-plus
Lo
kids.
coming back here?
They've been great since we got them. That was important to us. We wanted to make sure we kept our culture.
Just throughout my 4 years, we usually played Quinnipiac twice when I was at UMass, and they were always a team that was really tough to play against. That was always in the top 10 and top 5 in the nation. It was definitely always a weekend we look forward to playing.
So it's going to show his, though, but it's going to be
fans here are unbelievable. It's always a great atmosphere. And just, what they've done, their track record, I'm just happy to be here to be a part of it now.
And then the culture and everything that kind of was behind Quinnipiac, as long as as with the opportunity that was along with it. So I was really excited kind of when I did get that call and reached out. So I think that whole culmination of the culture and everything that's behind Quinnipiac was an exciting opportunity.
The Bobcats are set to open their season on October 8th at the Icebreaker Tournament against Boston College. From Hamden, Connecticut, I'm Ethan Logue, Q30 Sports.
Switching from the ice to the pitch, women's soccer played 2 games this past weekend. The first came Wednesday afternoon at home against the Vermont Catamounts. Both teams came out of the first half with 1 goal each, but Quinnipiac pulled away in the second, adding 2 goals, one by senior Selena Salas and first-year Elena Gagno, winning 3-1. That last goal from Gagno was the first of her collegiate career. The midfielder from Vancouver, British Columbia, did not see any action in her first shortened season last spring. She's been impressing so far and was finally able to put it in the back of the net.
And after that victory against Vermont, the team went to Fordham to face the Rams after a goal in the first half by the Bobcats. Both teams scored twice, and Quinnipiac came away with a 3-2 victory as Quinnipiac had 10 shots and 6 shots on goal, and they came away with a 3-2 victory, staying undefeated 5-0. Now, after a dominating week, we bring women's soccer beat reporter Shannon Tierney on to discuss the team. Shannon, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So Shannon, through the first 5 games, who are your underdogs of the team?
First, I'm going to go with Paige LaBerge for my underdog for the team. She is a junior, but she transferred here last year from Florida State. So this is her first year, or last year was her first year with the team. And obviously last year was a strange season, given COVID, and it was a shortened season. You didn't have the games before the MAC games, which I think are really important, formative games for this team. And I remember last year in press conferences, Dave Clark telling me to watch out for her, telling me that she was performing so well in practice, but just on the field, she was still getting comfortable with the program and with the team. And now that it's a new season, a longer season than last year, where the team actually has those games before the MAC, I think we'll be seeing her as an unexpected threat. I mean, it's already showing yesterday. Not only did she get her first goal as a Bobcat, but it was the game winner against Fordham. So that shows that she can step up in these clutch situations. So I'm expecting this to be the first of many goals from LaBerge for the team this season.
Shannon, with a 5-0 record this season, do you see the Bobcats maintaining this winning streak through the MAC play?
So I have been saying for years that I've been covering this team that this was a young team. So the time has kind of finally come where I can confidently say that this is now a mature team. And one with a lot of talent, as we've seen in these first few games. So I think it's very possible that they can keep this winning streak up
The one concern that I have is that they are currently in the middle of a 4-game stretch of road games. And for any team, this is going to take a toll on you. They've already won the first one against Fordham, but by the time they get to that fourth one against Niagara, I'm a little worried that all of the traveling might just catch up to them and take a toll on them. But like I said, this is not a young team anymore. I maybe would have been more worried last year or 2 years ago about having this 4-game stretch, but now I feel like they have those stronger, older players who should be used to playing on the road and can even kind of help and guide the younger players who it might be taking a toll on.
With Monmouth being their first MAC opponent and the last time the teams both played, the Bobcats lost in the MAC semifinals to Monmouth. Do you think they will strike revenge or fall under the pressure?
So for almost all of my time here at Quinnipiac and specifically covering this team, the Monmouth Hawks for women's soccer have just been this unbeatable force in the MAC. It was almost like it didn't matter how good this team or any team in the MAC was, because Monmouth was just going to be undefeated. They were going to win. They were going to be the ones that you'd see in the NCAA tournament. But last year, that all took a change, and that is not the case anymore. We saw Quinnipiac showed up last year during the regular season and showed that they had the chops to beat Monmouth. They did the impossible. It was now possible. Now, the Bobcats were unable to get that win against them in the postseason last year, but for the first time since 2015, the Monmouth Hawks are not the defending champions. That's the first time I've been able to say that here as a beat reporter of this team. So the MAC is a completely open division now, which we have not seen yet. So I think Quinnipiac has shown that they can beat them, and I think they've shown this season that they're a very strong team. So this is definitely the most confident I've ever been in this team's ability to beat the Monmouth Hawks.
Well, thank you, Shannon, for your time. And now it's not just the women's team off to a hot start. The men's soccer team has been rolling too, coming into their Wednesday afternoon matchup with in-state foe Sacred Heart. And at the end of the day, the Bobcats came away with a 2-0 victory, with Brage Austin and Thomas Fakula scoring the 2 goals as the Bobcats stood at 3-0 and Sacred Heart fell to 0-4.
The Bobcats remained on the road this Saturday against local foe CCSU. Quinnipiac struck first with an assisted goal by Sam McCann, and then Brage Asson and CCSU's Austin Rookie both scored in the second, and the team finished with the weekend with a perfect 4-0 record.
And after their dominating 2-0 week, the men's soccer team swept the MAC Awards as Brage Austin won MAC Offensive Player of the Week. Sophomore goalkeeper Aid Hood-Rival won MAC Defensive Player of the Week after one shutout performance at a 10-save game against CCSU, and Sam McCann won MAC Rookie of the Week.
Their performance this week lived up to the expectations of the national recognition they received on September 8th. The United Soccer Coaches Top 25 poll awarded the Bobcats with 2 votes, not quite placing them within the top 25. Now we have to take a break really quick, but when we come back, we check with women's field hockey beat reporter Keith Savage to discuss their season start.
And the volleyball team has played 9 games so far. How have they fared? Stick around to find out.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spot on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job.
I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working.
I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Let's jump right in with field hockey. The Bobcats had their first 2 home games this weekend, starting off with a Friday contest against the Fairfield Stags. After holding Fairfield scoreless for the first 15, Fairfield jumped on top with 2 goals in the second and 1 in the third, and ultimately winning 3-0.
And after their first game against the Stags, the Bobcats stayed home against the Lafayette Leopards. Will the Bobcats get their first win of the season? Let's check it out.
It looks like you lost another one.
Again,
Michaela Dugan. A first-year number 15, Amelia.
2019, looking to get the Bobcats' first win this year. First quarter, less than 6 minutes here. Lafayette, Audrey Soares blocked twice, but Molly McAndrews is there to clean it up, and Lafayette goes up 1-0 after the first quarter. Second quarter, we go 16 minutes in. Another penalty corner for the Leopards. India Ralph, wide open by the net. We'll show you another replay here. Gets it off the stick and gets it by for the 2-0 lead. Later in the fourth quarter, Quinnipiac taking a penalty corner for the first time all game. Just Hallie misses just by a matter of inches, and Lafayette holds on to win 2-0. Quinnipiac goes 0-4.
Head coach Becca Main selected 3 seniors and 1 fifth-year as the season's captains. Jess Haley, Michaela Duggan, and Isabella Sinibaldi enter their senior campaign alongside Brooke Whipke. All 4 have been early staples on the field for the Bobcats. They will look to finish their year on a high note.
Along with the new captains, there's also a new coach as Jill DeSanti joins the program as a volunteer coach in data analysis. DeSanti played on the field hockey team from 2001 to 2004 and was the captain her senior season. She previously had stints coaching at Lafayette, Monmouth, and Wagner.
We are now joined with field hockey beat reporter Keith Savage. Keith, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's been a blast covering field hockey.
So far, Keith, have there been any first years that stood out to you?
So far, Becca Main has told me it's one of the best first-year classes she's ever had, and Amelia Mazzarelli from Argentina is going to be a star on this team. I promise you that. Her hands are quick. The refs don't know how to call her. Amelia Mazzarelli is the star of this first-year class. Is the only starter out of all of them. But I think this whole first-year class has amazing potential. Amelia Mazzarelli, once again, remember the name, from Argentina. She has 13 shot attempts, hasn't scored 1, but that goal is going to happen very soon.
Well, Keith, we'll remember her name, but how have you liked the play of sophomore goalkeeper Nina Santone?
I love Nina Santone this year. She's a sophomore, she's a proven, and versus Lafayette, she's looked much better. Every game she's a proven. First game against Temple coming up this Friday, and I think Nina Santone is going to be a star. Watch out, sophomore goalie, few years, she's going to be one of the goalkeepers, one of the best goalkeepers in the Big East.
Now, Keith, with the first in-conference game against Temple quickly approaching, what will it take for the team to turn things around this upcoming Friday?
There's a lot of things the team has to prove. I'm not sure what I think yet. I think they're going to finish under 500 in the Big East play. In the last 6 years, they've done the same. But I see Olivia Howard being a real star on this team. She's now a defenseman after being a midfielder. I think Olivia Howard is going to be the person who leads the charge. And I think it's going to be a young team that's going to turn around in the upcoming years. But a lot of things need to change. I hope it happens, and I hope Becca Main turns this team around and they get their first conference championship.
Keith, thank you so much for your insight. Bringing it back inside, the volleyball team went to Maryland for the Charm City Challenge tournament. They played 3 games, starting with UMBC. In their first game, the Bobcats fell to UMBC of the American East Conference 3-1, and they would go back and forth in the first 2 sets, but UMBC would finish the day winning the last 2.
Then against the Big Ten foe, Maryland Terrapins, Maryland won in straight sets, and none were that close, losing 25-14, 25-18, and 25-12 in a sweep against Maryland.
Their final game of the tournament came against the Howard Bison, and that came to be the most competitive match of the weekend for the Bobcats. They won their first set 25-22, but dropped the next consecutive 3 sets. An opportunity was given to two former Quinnipiac volleyball players to continue their professional careers after college.
Q30 beat reporter Eric Kerr has the latest on where former Bobcats Morgan Sherwin and Gabby Horman are now.
For 4 years, Morgan Sherwin and Gabby Horman have made the Burt Conn Court their home here in Hamden, but now they'll have to travel overseas to start a new chapter in their volleyball career in Europe.
Doing it and going to so many different places was such an eye-opening experience.
Sherwin and Horman played their entire college career at Quinnipiac. They became Bobcats back in 2017, working their way up to become co-captains. Now they take their leadership and talents to new teams. Sherwin is in Hungary, playing for VESC volleyball, while Horman is in Cyprus, playing for Lemesos volleyball. While finding a new team was the priority, the two made sure to spend plenty of time to explore.
Looking at the Duomo in Florence, like in person, and just like, it literally looks like a wallpaper that you're staring at.
Croatia was my favorite just because I'm a very beach person. Those views were just incredible.
Food that we encountered in Italy too was just like amazing. And the gelato too is up there.
One potential challenge was trying to learn a new language, but it wasn't as difficult for them as you may think.
Most of the girls and coaches speak English. They all said that they learned it at a very young age.
All the coaches speak both, and they would like say something in Greek to the girls, and then they would translate it to us, or they would just speak everything in English so they don't have to do both.
And who gave these two their chance? It was their former coach, Kyle Robinson. The two's current agents, Corey Solomon and Nick Paczynski, are both friends and former agents of Robinson, back when he played in Europe as well.
We had been in touch with them and hey, we have these up and coming, athletes. We want to see them go to the next level. They had these really cool opportunities to go play in an international tournament. From there, they showcased their skills and it went on to getting contracts.
Horman said that her and Sherman won't be the last Bobcats to play overseas.
I want them to know about this and to experience it because it's been so awesome so far. I want you guys to take advantage of this opportunity if you have it, and if you want it, you could do it.
And right now in America, their former teammates in Hamden are eager to see them soon.
Immediately went to go see how expensive flight was to see if we could go visit them. Like Nicole said, it's an expensive trip, so we're trying, looking for funding.
Eric Kerr, Q30 Sports.
Great analysis there by Eric, but we got another break. But when we come back, the Quinnipiac rugby team faces off against a formidable foe. Watch to see how they fare.
And of course, we have your top 5 plays. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Welcome back. We got one more block to go. We'll start it off with the Quinnipiac rugby team faced off against defending national champions in Dartmouth. Let's see how they fared. Let's roll the highlight. Quinnipiac and Dartmouth Bobcats' first home game as they beat Sacred Heart in their opener, starting 1-0. Let's jump straight into the first half, 23rd minute in, as it is flanker Sophia Haley. She'll sneak in for the try right there. Dartmouth goes up 7-0 just a few minutes later. Seven Cifsano catches a toss and barrels over a Bobcat. Dartmouth will go up 12-0 and lead 17-0 at half. Second half, center Lily Durbin stiff arms one Bobcat and then evades another to convert one of her 3 tries on the day. Dartmouth now up 36-0. 75th minute, beautiful toss by the Bobcats as Kat Story finds herself in space to convert the first try of the game for the Bobcats. And the Dartmouth now leads 50-5. And 79th minute, the Bobcats are on the break. Kat Story jukes out 4 Dartmouth players, and the cameraman tosses to Haley Crow for the final actions of the game. But the Bobcats ultimately end up losing by a score of 50-10, as they'll be with Dartmouth at the end to talk about their loss.
Q30 Sports Director Jacob Resnick got the chance to sit down with the rugby team and talk about their weekend.
Though a 50-10 defeat wasn't what the Quinnipiac women's rugby team had in mind coming into its home opener on Saturday against Dartmouth, the game was an emotional battle on 2 fronts.
After playing just 2 scrimmages in the spring due to COVID, the Bobcats are staring down their first full season since the fall of 2019. Head coach Becky Carlson said it's time to move from just being happy to be here to dominating the competition.
You don't know what any of these teams have been through. We definitely know what we went through here at Quinnipiac for all the athletes, not just rugby. And when you're actually able to get out and actually compete, you're really grateful. But there has to be a time when you go from being grateful to let's go out and compete. And I don't think we made that transition. I know we were grateful today, but I don't necessarily think that we negotiated that transition well. So it feels good to be back on the field again. I certainly wish there were more points at the end of the game.
Saturday's game was played on the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, which is more than just a date on the calendar for this Bobcats program.
In a pregame ceremony, the teams honored the life of Ginny Sweetser, who enlisted in the armed forces shortly after 9/11 and died this past December. Sweetser's sisters, Katria and Francesca, played rugby at Quinnipiac and Dartmouth, respectively.
IGY6 stands for I Got Your Back, and it's something that was, prevalent and important to her. She signed up for the military directly after 9/11, and her mom will even say, 9/11 was the reason that Jenny left us twice. For us it was a big deal to have I Got Your Back on the front here today. So we were really, really honored to honor her today at the game.
From the field to the courts, the Quinnipiac women's tennis team revealed their fall 2021 schedule. They'll start playing on September 17th through the 19th, traveling to Yukon to take on the Huskies, Army, and Fairfield. Later on, in September 24th, they'll go to Yale Hidden Duels to take on Yale, Brown, and Columbia.
The Quinnipiac men's tennis team also announced their schedules. They will open up the season on September 24th at the KU Invitational at Fairfield. They will then travel to UPenn, Wesleyan, and Bryant before finishing the Connecticut State Championships on November 5th at Yale. Now, both the men's and women's teams will have an all-away schedule as the Quinnipiac tennis courts remain under construction.
And switching from the tennis courts to the basketball courts, the Quinnipiac men's basketball announced they will hold an open practice on Saturday, October 9th at 11 a.m. Fans will have the chance for autographs at the end.
Now it's finally everyone's favorite time. It's time for the top 5.
Let's get it, Lo. You take the odds, I'll take the evens.
Let's get into it. Starting it off with the 5th play of the week, we've got women's soccer versus the University of Vermont. This is Ella Gagno's first career goal from downtown. She kicks it from far left field to the top corner of the goal, and the Bobcats defeated Vermont 3-1.
Play number 4, you saw this before, but women's rugby versus Dartmouth has a good clean tosses from the Bobcats. The ball ends up in Cat Story's hands. Dartmouth attempts to go for the tackle, but Cat slides in for the point, and we'll show more from this game later.
Now moving on to the third, men's soccer versus Central Connecticut. Funky shot to score the goal from Brage Asen, but the celebration from Asen and his teammates after the stellar goal. The Bobcats win that one 2-1.
And now we'll go to play number 2. Wasn't in the highlight, but against field hockey versus Lafayette as Michaela Adams, she'll come up the field and just finagle her way around the defender here. And we'll show you a little replay there, but she goes in between the legs. Here's another slow motion as Adams holds on to the ball, and watch as she goes right in between, but Quinnipiac still falls down to Lafayette 2-0.
Now, what's the top play of the week? We're going back to rugby versus the Dartmouth. Spectacular moves from Cat Story. She jukes Dartmouth defenders from left to right. Defenders falling on the ground. We definitely have to take a look at this in slow-mo. She goes from the right to the left. The defender tries to pull her down, but it doesn't work, and she continues on. Now, she doesn't get the chance to score, and Dartmouth ultimately takes that victory 50-10.
And well, that'll do it for tonight. And for Lo's first time on, Lo, how did it feel?
John, I had a good time, and I hope to do it again. Make sure you check in with all of our content across Twitter at Q30 Sports and at Q30 Television, and check out our website at Q30TV.com and the Q30 TV app. For everyone in the studio and my co-host John Surratt, I'm Lo Yarnall. Have a great night.